Hey scientists, Mr. Peluso here. This video lesson is going to focus on an introduction to the DNA molecule. So the outcomes for this video lesson, we want to look at the purpose of DNA. So we want to understand that all living things contain common genetic material known as deoxyribonucleic acid, which is also known as DNA. We want to understand that the coding contained in DNA determines genetic characteristics. So we'll be having a bit of a chat about what that is. We also want to explain the shape of DNA as a double helix, and we'll have a look at that as well. So, the purpose of DNA. As we just mentioned, it does stand for, now we'll try and break this down a little bit, deoxyribonucleic acid. So when you kind of put it all together and say it really quickly or see the word, it's probably a little bit, not frightening, but what's that word? I can't think of the word I'm trying to say. But when you put it all together, intimidating, that's what I wanted. When you put it all together, it's actually not too bad. Deoxyribonucleic acid. Alright? Now we want to understand that DNA is found in every living thing. So, I mean, I'm a living thing. I'm chatting to you guys. You're living as well. So we have DNA inside of us. Okay? Actually, all of our cells contains DNA, or the majority of our cells. But obviously animals are living as well. So you might look at this little dog, I'm not sure what breed it is, and a little cat as well. So all animals are living things too, and they also have DNA. You might ask yourself, is their DNA different to ours? The structure of the DNA molecule is the same, but the code is actually different, okay? You might see some similarities between these two animals. What can you notice about these two that are very similar? If you said they're pointy ears, that's what I'm thinking as well. So this dog has quite pointy ears, and so does the cat. So there's a similar characteristic between those two animals, which is coded in their DNA that says that they're going to have those characteristics for the ears that look very similar. You might not think of a tree as living. I mean, it is living. It's not as mobile as maybe humans and animals are, but it's still a living thing and it still has DNA. Even the fruit that you're eating, if you eat a banana, you're eating DNA because that banana will have DNA as well. So DNA is the molecule that tells all of these living things how they're going to be. And we say that the pattern is determined by the genetic code of the living thing. So the pattern of a living thing, so what it's going to be, what it's going to look like, how it's going to act, it's determined by the genetic code. And that code is written inside of the DNA. So the DNA is a molecule that carries the genetic code. We're going to finish by looking at the DNA molecule itself. Now, what do you notice about the shape of this molecule? This is a section of a DNA molecule, a representation. You can see that we've got two outside sections. We've got the purple and we've got the aqua section here. They're on the outside of the molecule and they're twisting, okay? The fact that it twists is referred to as a helix. And because there's two sides to the helix, it's referred to as a double helix. Now inside the molecule here are different coloured sections too. And these are representative of the bases. That's where the genetic code is. So the inside of the DNA molecule has all of the important stuff. The outside here, which we refer to as the backbone, actually holds the DNA molecule together. Here's another representation. Now, the difference between these two diagrams, obviously here we've got all of these little particles. So this is a cleaner diagram, a bit more easy on the eyes. This one is a bit more, I want to say accurate, because it actually identifies the fact that you've got different particles here. Now, how many colors can we see? We've got red and black on the outside. So the backbone is actually made of two different types of particles, which we'll talk about in the next video. And on the inside here, how many colors have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now this isn't entirely accurate because sorry, it's only got 3 colors, but we should have 4 colors. Okay, and again, we'll talk about that in the next video. So a summary of this video: DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid, and you want to be able to spell it. It's found in the nucleus of cells. Now this is something we haven't talked about too much, but we will cover it in a later video. It determines the characteristics and the features of an organism. So characteristics means aspects about the organism, okay? So characteristics, whether we're a human, whether we're an animal or a plant. But there's also characteristics within those organisms. If you look at a human, you might talk about skin tone, hair color, eye color, whether earlobes are attached or unattached. There's so many characteristics that make us different. Just have a think of all the people that you see and all of the differences that they have just on the outside in terms of their facial appearance. And that's only the tip of the iceberg in terms of characteristics. Features of an organism too are also aspects about them. DNA is found and is in the same structure in all living organisms. So the DNA molecule always looks the same. No matter what type of organism it is, it's the code within the DNA molecule that changes. It's a long thread-like molecule. Now it's really, really long, okay? We're talking about if you could unravel all of your DNA, tie it together, I think it would go around, it would reach from Pluto to back to Earth about 7 times or something. That's probably completely wrong, but if you Google your DNA, how much of it you have, there's some crazy facts out there about how much DNA is actually inside of us. So it's really, really long, okay? The fact that it looks similar to a twisted ladder, the shape is referred to as a double helix. Thanks guys, I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you in class.